I just wanted to say something about this while I was thinking about it, and I don't think I'd ever thought about it before about 5 minutes ago. I was just heading home from the bridge, and some things occurred to me. I mean, I already knew this, but I'd never really thought of it in this way. Okay, when I broke my leg 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago, I guess, April 27th, 2016, and I took opioids for the first time in my life, aside from a small prescription of hydrocodone. So basically the first time in my life. And a fair amount. They were giving me 60 milligrams a day. My femur was in 3 pieces and had a piece of titanium through the middle of it. So that really wasn't as bad as some of the other things I've experienced, like burns 7 weeks later, which is coming up in the story. I knew within 3 days. Percocet was amazing medicine. And it was probably the first or second day. I don't know. I mean, it's not something I really had to think about, or I wasn't really in a thinking kind of mood. But I was in the hospital for 2 weeks, so, you know, I just took my medicine every 4 hours, and that's the only thing different, I think, that I took. Because I'm very unwilling to try, especially to take new pharmaceuticals, but even to try them. But when your femur is broken into 3 pieces like mine was, you do what you don't decline pain medication. Anyway, so within a few days, or maybe that day, I knew that Percocet eliminated spasticity. It didn't just help it. It eliminated spasticity. And at that point, see, I still didn't realize I was in pain. And I wasn't gonna realize at the time because I was in a lot of pain from my broken leg. But that alone is reason enough for me to have been prescribed Percocet indefinitely from that point. And okay, so 7 weeks later, I'm gonna try to rearrange this phone first. Okay, so 7 weeks later, when I suffered my burns on June 17th, 2016, I was given oxycodone. Now, it's basically the same thing. It's just Percocet without the acetaminophen. Acetaminophen doesn't do shit. So it's the same thing. But I already knew it was really good for me. And even though I had 7 weeks to figure out more, I hadn't. Because I still didn't know I was in pain. I didn't know I was in pain. Like, intractable pain. For possibly at least a couple more years. First of all, because I guess, I don't even know. I mean, this is a fairly new thought for me. But apparently I have kind of a ridiculous tolerance for pain. I don't know. I mean, I did walk across the United States in 211 days. That was very painful. I've experienced these things. That was very painful. I've never felt like I have a high tolerance for pain, but now that I kind of have a different way of looking at it, I guess I do. Or at least the kind of pain, like long, that was for me. Long nagging pain, kind of like running cross country or marathons, you know, I have that kind of tolerance. I never ran cross country or marathons. I did walk across the United States. My brother was varsity track and cross country at Ohio State and Ohio University. Everyone in high school, because he was 4 years ahead of me, when I got into high school, everyone expected me to be Roman Jr., and I was more interested in smoking cigarettes, bowling, and playing drums. So I never became Roman Jr., but I'm probably built more to be a runner than he is. He's 5'6", I'm 5'10". I don't know. It seems like taller people generally are built more for distance running. But I used to go and I would bowl 20 or 30 games in 3 hours. I guess I have endurance. I've never felt like it, but I guess I do. I don't know. Which is kind of the same thing as I have high tolerance for pain. At least that kind of pain. Pain that lasts a long time. That's not necessarily a higher level of pain, but it's a high enough level. But it's a high enough level of pain that it's worse than a higher level of pain, because it goes on and on and on. It never stops. Plus, it's throughout my body. That makes a difference. Those are some things I've been trying to say that I think I probably just said better than I have before. About the pain scale. 1 through 10 doesn't, 1 through 10 is a part of it. Like, right now, you could say I'm at least 6, but I've been 6 for 10 years. So I'm going to call that 8. And until I can stand up, I won't say I'm at 7. That's kind of that's what I was trying to get at in my one video a few months ago, before I went nuts and started making videos every other day. But where was I? Okay, pain scale 1 through 10 plus how long have you been in pain? Has it ever stopped? It has never stopped. It's my whole body, and it has never stopped. And I might call it 6 if it just started today. It wouldn't bother me much if it just started today. It would just be a crappy day. But it's been several thousand crappy days in a row without a break. And that's worse. That's worse than kidney stones or second-degree burns. And second-degree burns hurt worse than third-degree burns, because third-degree burns kill the nerves or something. I didn't know that. I was actually surprised to read that. But I already knew second-degree burns hurt like hell, but I didn't know that. Okay, so shit, what was the point? It's about Percocet. I knew before May 2016 that I needed Percocet. I've never been high on Percocet or any other opioid. I don't want to be. And most people don't want to be. Almost everyone doesn't want to be. Okay? And don't. Everything you've heard on the news about opioids is bullshit. I've never thought about using heroin. I wouldn't know how to get it anyway. You can't get it in this neighborhood. It might be around here somewhere, but you can't get it unless you know that teenager. Okay, so I guess I'm talking about levels of redundance. Okay, so April or May 2016, I knew the answer. It wasn't hard to figure out. It was not remotely hard to figure out. I didn't even try to figure it out. But so why didn't a doctor know that by then? Because I heard doctors are smart. I've been hearing that all my life. But I mean, that's the very first thing. If you're going to treat this disease, which I had never heard of for like another 2 years, it's not even really a disease, it's more of an injury. You should know that. That's the first thing you should know. And even Dr. Tennant, I don't want to, I think I've said before, I don't want to say anything mean about Dr. Tennant, but he doesn't get it. He does get the opioid part, but he doesn't get the don't take other shit part. Which is probably the most, well, almost equally important. Doctors should have known. And they should have known the first time I went into a doctor office on a chair like this and had legs that looked like arms, any of that. They should have known that guy's in pain. That guy's in horrible pain. You don't get this way. Excuse me. You don't get this way without being in horrible pain. And that's not just my experience. That's how it is. All right. And I don't care how much you want to make believe there's an opioid epidemic, because there's not. And so I should have started receiving treatment actually a long time before 2016, because my MS neurologist either knew the answer or ignored the results that told her the answer. But regardless, I went in there with a cane. I don't think I've ever been into Ohio State neurology without a cane. But then I had a walker, and then I had a chair. Actually, I don't know. I may have stopped being a patient by the time I was crippled. And that's all that matters. If you're crippled, you don't get crippled. And I'm not talking about paralysis. I don't know about that. There may be some other things, but if you're crippled, not by paralysis, and it may include paralysis, you're in pain. That's a visual sign of pain. I can tell you that because, first of all, 10 years, not only have I experienced it for a long time, but I've had a long time to think about it. And that's basically all I've done. But also, I knew before that. I mean, I was in really horrible pain for more than a couple years before I began to realize that it's pain. And there are reasons for that. High tolerance for pain is one. Another is the fact that even though it came on fast, it came on slow. It wasn't just like when you break your arm, you feel fine and then you hurt like hell. It was just a little bit worse each day. You don't notice that. And also, they were brainwashing me to think it was my nerves because it was multiple sclerosis. Well, it wasn't multiple sclerosis, and some of the stuff that's going on with me probably is multiple sclerosis, like the fact that my left leg doesn't do what my right leg does. And probably my left arm as well. But so many ways. They should have known. And I should have been treated. I should have never had to ask. Should have never had to seek pain treatment. They should have just known. If you're competent, if you're a doctor and you're competent, you know that. Especially because the vast majority of doctor visits are about pain. When you go to the doctor, it's about pain. I'm doing pretty good, and I'm talking faster than shit right now too. But was there more? I don't know. I might have to finish this in another video. But my point is, I had redundance. I had many things that happened to me that should have told doctors that I was in pain. And I don't care how much I hide it. I mean, I don't try to hide it, but there comes a point, after you've been in pain for long enough, it's just normal. And even though it hurts, it's just normal to you. And I apparently don't show things like that. I don't know, because I've always thought of myself as a pretty emotional person, which you can tell in a few videos I've made recently, or which comes out in a few videos. But now I'm starting to see myself as a really flat, non-emotional person. But then I've always seen myself as like everything I am that way, I'm also that way equally, except for maybe some things that I was going to say, but I'm not going to. So what do I got? I got before April 27th, 2016. I got June 17th, 2016. That's my broken leg and then my burns. I had pain relief for another few months. And then I started having just not enough for daily. I was going to a doctor and she was, or a nurse practitioner, and she was writing 14 pills a month, 10 milligram pills, which do very little. They did more at the time, but I mean, even if I cut them all in half, I don't get half a milligram every day, or I don't get something every day. But then my mom, my insane mom, had me, it was December 1st or December 2nd, 2016. She had me locked up in the nut house for 2 weeks. She didn't choose that. I mean, when you go, you're going for at least 5 days. They didn't let me out for, I think it was 13 days. By then, because I'd been sitting in this chair basically the whole time, and I wasn't able to exercise or move or any of that, I was a different person physically. And just so many things have happened that where it should have been like big time light bulb for any or all doctors I saw during that time, that I was in pain. And instead, I spent the next 4 years in hell. Even though I had pain treatment for a year before June 29th, it was hell. It made me worse. It's responsible for the hell that is now, that I'm going through now, and it pisses me off. I didn't just miss those 4 years or the years before that, the 6 years before that. And I never went to a doctor until after it had been going on for 2 years. So let's say 8 years total. It just basically September 12th, 2010 was the last day of my life. That's the day I finished my walk, which is almost exactly 10 years ago today. What is today? Today's like the last day of August or something. Or maybe the second to last day. But so that's kind of an important day to me. I don't know how it will affect me, but and I was already messed up by then because it happened during my walk. It either happened from carrying too much weight in the Rockies and in the desert, or it happened when Indiana cops, for no reason, decided I'm a horrible person because I just walked there from the Pacific Ocean, 2,600 miles, and they pounced on me. They conspired and figured out a reason to fucking hurt me, which they did. And it makes more sense that that is what caused arachnoiditis. But I don't know. Maybe some things will come to me. Because they jumped on my back. They're big guys. Probably 300 pounds. 250 at least. 300. I don't know. Possibly more. Big guys. One of them was the county sheriff. Like I mentioned, Steve Fenwick. The other one, the one who started it all, was John Chad. I would kill those motherfuckers if I could. And I read afterward, maybe a couple years later, Corporal Chad was hit on the freeway, like when he was out of his car, cruiser or something, and fuck you, asshole. That's what you get for fucking with people who didn't do anything to anyone. I think that's called karma. And I generally don't like to say things like that, and I generally won't say things like that. But you know what? I'm not the only person he's done that to. I'm not even close. So, fuck him. Many, many times over the 10 years. Okay, I wasn't just... It's not just like I missed 10 years. I was around. I experienced it. And it was hell. It was like missing 10 years, but it was also like being in super mega hell for 10 years. And this is never gonna, I'm always gonna be like this. Hopefully I'll be able to keep getting the pain treatment I need, but there's a very good chance that's gonna stop sometime. I'm gonna get fired or something. There's a cop. You'll see him go in a second. I don't like cops. But, okay, this is like 24 minutes already, so I'm going to stop. If I remember anything that I wanted to say along with this, then I'll probably forget about it and not say anything ever. So, hopefully the traffic noise isn't too loud. I think I'm far enough from the road that it should be far enough from the road, but I can't tell because, as you see, I have earbuds in my ears. There's no music, but they're like earplugs. It's getting kind of chilly. I don't like the end of summer. Fuck the end of summer. I like summer. Especially now because I'm always cold. Alright, I've said a lot. You probably can't process it all because I've been like... I think I probably ought to go take some speed and drink some coffee. Alright. everyone have a good night. As you can tell, it's getting, well, you might be able to tell, but it's almost night, and that's why I'm going home. Yeah, now you can kind of tell. See ya.